Today's poll question, X at 1080 The Fan. How much do you consume behind-the-scenes football content like Hard Knocks and That Team Out West? One answer is I can't get enough. Two is I'll peek on occasion. Or three, not at all, too sanitized. We want you to vote.
Well, it certainly is sanitized.
We want you to vote hard.
And it's a bit heavy-handed at times for me.
What does that mean? Heavy-handed?
Cheesy.
Oh.
The Team Out West is dude, we could dial it back like 3 notches, but it's not for me. And I've also said many times that I've got something broken inside me. The raw team stuff, I always struggled with it. I didn't like it when I played. I don't like it now. So I totally understand that for me, when I watch that, there's a little like, oh, can we tone it down? But like I was listening to Dirt and Sprague this morning. Dirt, I think, touched himself to the Team Out West. And it's really, really well done. And it does give you a nice sanitized look behind the scenes. And also, boy, I'll tell you what, like, I'm not bitter or anything. I'm jealous. College football is so much cooler now than when I played. Like, guys are on private planes, like the retreats that they're going.
Is that just Oregon, though?
No, dude,
they're all doing that?
Because
that was pretty,
if you're at a big-time school.
They were filming some pretty cool stuff on that show. So, if you don't know, that Team Out West is the Oregon football documentary that they're doing. And the first one, it's going to drop every Tuesday on the Oregon football Twitter. And this one was like 33 minutes. There's one episode every Tuesday following them through camp.
And Ty Burrell is the narrator, and they do the cheesy HBO voiceovers.
Dude, it is exactly like Hard Knocks. I mean, as a matter of fact, they have Burrell narrating with his cadence is just like Liev Schreiber.
Yeah, and the music too. They it's not exactly the same, but it's like they tried to get an AI copy of it.
Yeah, you ordered Hard Knocks off of Temu or Wish, and you got this. Yeah. Like, there's even the one, like, there's these little one-liners at the end where it's like, it may be hot outside, but it's heating up even more on the practice field. Right. And you're like, oh my God. That's where I'm like,
they had something early with the construction. But the expansion continues or something like that.
Everything's under construction in this program, but that's the way they like it. Like, there's some of that stuff that's just, to me it was an eye roll, but
a lot of people love that.
Yes. Like I said, there are people like, again, Dirt touching himself to this, and it's really well done. It's shot really well. The production's really, is good. You could not tell the difference between Oregon doing that and HBO doing it. And Lanning comes across as a stud. That you get to see some of the players, some of the behind the scenes stuff. And, there should be probably more teams doing stuff like this, because for your fans, that's just red meat. I mean, that's just for your dogs. I mean, that is for all the hardcore fans. They will eat that stuff up. And recruits love that sort of stuff because, again, it's that generation, it's all about putting a camera in someone's face and telling them how great they are.
Well, I gotta say, if I'm a recruit, I watch that, I want to join them.
Yes. Looks pretty cool to be a Duck.
100%.
Yeah, and that's all they're trying to do. Yes. Like, I feel like Lanning is only signing off on any of this stuff
for recruiting
if it helps recruiting.
Yes.
And so it better be sanitized. It better show, like, it shows a lot of, Lanning does look great in it, and so does Will Stein. But again, as you know, the seedy part of football and the tough part of football is
away from it.
It's not being shown.
Yeah.
But I will say that, and we all know that. I mean, come on.
And we're not going to get one controversial thing in this whole
Not
series.
one thing. Nope. You're right. And we all know that we won't see that. But we do get a glimpse of what is best about the coaching staff. And I will say, they come across wonderfully because it really feels to me like and I don't know if this is just today's generation needs more of this, or there are more coaches like this, or it's just because you have a young coaching staff. But they seem more in tune with human dynamic type of stuff, more so than old Bear Bryant saying, "Get your ass up, no water, run it again." Yeah. There are a lot of instances in the Team Out West, the first episode, where Lanning's talking, or other coaches are talking to kids about how they feel, about just motivational things that are uplifting. It's a little bit more. It's just a little bit more. I think a kid may get a little bit more out of football seeing that if coaches are like that than they would your traditional football coach. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Right? Like, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they care. You can tell they really care. And some of caring is not just X's and O's and that player knowing what he's doing on the field. It's that player's mentality.
Yeah.
It's teaching that kid to be a leader, like we talked about with Alex Molden last week. It's all of those things. And they do a really good job, at least in the first episode, of showing that the coaches really dig into that kind of stuff. And it's kind of cool.
Well, that makes for the best coaching staffs. And also, too, I think in this world, this generation that they're having to recruit in and the player empowerment and stuff, I'm sure there is a place for the heavy-handed red ass, but boy, you got to really walk a fine line. I think if you want to be successful, it behooves you to be more of the coaches that you're talking about. And I think a coach like Lanning understands that you're better off hiring a staff that's the majority of them are like that. And then if you need one or two red asses, like the O-line coach will usually be a giant a-hole or, the strength and conditioning guy. But yeah, I do think we're moving away certainly from the Woody, Woody and Bear days of college football.
Yeah, I think all those guys' tendencies are, I mean, we've talked about this a million times, but the coach that's like that, the reason they're like that is, one, it can be effective, and two, it's the easiest way to go about getting your team to fall in line.
100%.
But they're shrapnel, right? Yeah. Like that comes with a price.
We talked to Trent Dilfer about this, and he said that. He said he kind of I want to use the analogy. I think he said it was like beating your dog, which can be a little, I remember at the time being like, yeah, but it's true. Like, you can beat a dog into submission, but the dog is only listening to you because it's scared of you. And he pointed out eventually they stop being scared of you. And the people that truly uplift, and the coaches, they get you to follow along because the animal wants to follow you. It knows that you care for it. There's a love and a connection there. And I remember him using that analogy to, like, the best coaches he ever had were those that, yes, could be demanding, but they came from a place of love, and it was more uplifting, and it was a positive reinforcement, not the negative one. And those are the ones that have lasting impacts and don't burn out.
I feel like it shows in this first episode that the Ducks coaches Lanning, these guys build up and instead of tear down.
Yeah.
And that's refreshing.
I would like to see Coach Kavanaugh, though, because he swears like a sailor, and I think he's hilarious.
Now,
the longtime Beaver O-line coach, he was in the very, he didn't say anything, but he was in the back. I think he's like an offensive analyst. I want to see that guy just out at practice, like a 2-minute clip of him just coming up with new curse words.
Well, even Lepoy,
yeah,
they have him in there, and we know what he's like.
Oh yeah, and he even dropped like a "gosh darn it" or something, and I was like, edited. But someone was like, "Hey, can we take two here and cut out the,
It's
he did the rare "gosh damn," didn't he? Didn't he say "gosh damn"?
Said something like that.
It was very
I was
odd.
like, I wonder if that was for the cameras.
It sort of felt like him being a part of that staff will make him better too.
Yeah,
like they brought him around,
yeah.
even. So it's hard to tell from just the sanitized promotional material, but it's pretty cool to see. Here's a text on the Vancouver Ford text line. It says, not to be cynical, but coaches have to recruit their own players year round, and the best way to do that is to build an actual relationship with players, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And it's true. I mean, when you look at the tactics of these coaches, it all really comes back to one thing: what's going to help me win and what's going to help me recruit.
Yes.
And that is, if you're smart and looking at things wisely, that is the way to do it.
This age of college football is leading and will lead to an emergence of this sort of coaching staff. There will be more of them than there will be of the old school.
And that's a good thing.
Yes, I think that is good.
So how much do you consume behind-the-scenes football content like HBO's Hard Knocks or Oregon's That Team Out West? Right now, we are split. We've got 37% saying I'll peek on occasion, 35% saying not at all, and 28% saying I can't get enough.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in the middle.
So vote and vote hard. I can't get enough. I watch it all.
You love it?
Well, I don't think it's all great in terms of just content.
Yeah, but you watch.
But I definitely watch it. I really can't get enough of it. Like, I'm going to be right there next Tuesday.
Yeah.
For both shows. And they may suck, but I'll be right back there the Thursday or the Tuesday after.
I watch it, but I'm not going to lie. I watch a lot of it because the show. If we weren't going to discuss it, I'm not certain that I would watch it the way that I do. But I when I do watch it, I enjoyed it. I generally walked away after the 33 minutes, and my first thought when I was done with it was, that was really well done.
Well, I like seeing the private jet stuff.
Yeah.
And we do get to see a little bit of
and
that.
that's the stuff, every time I see this now, I just think about how janky college football was when I played. And I know 20 years is a long time, but I just look back at it and I'm like, I don't recognize one thing. Not a single thing about
Not even the star quarterback driving a minivan?
Well, that's it. That is a BYU thing.
Maybe the most humble thing in that whole show.
I guarantee he's got another car.
I guarantee he's got $1.5 million in NIL.
That ain't the only car that dude's got rolling around. But yeah, it was just, every time I see that, and I just think, like, if you did a Hard Knocks, like when I played, it would just be me and my friends drinking really crappy beer and eating Taco Bell. Like, there was summer retreats. What? Whose ever house got the new Saving Private Ryan on Blu-ray, and how drunk we can get and not throw it from eating tacos. It's just it's a different world, and college football is better for it. Athletes are better, staffs are better, resources are better. The game is better than ever.